Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about Art Chantry. The reason why I chose him is because literally everything he has created, his style, is just right up my alley. I'm a sucker for the grunge alternative theme that he just based his whole career around. Um, so that's the main reason why I'm talking about him. But I'll just shut up and get to the point. So this man, Art Chantry, he was born in Tacoma, Washington in 1954. He went to three other colleges until he ended up with a painting degree in 1978 from the school in Bellingham, Washington, now known as Western Washington University. But he later moved to Seattle in the late 1970s, so like 79, literally right after college, where he worked for about 3 decades. When he moved to Seattle, no other designer was creating or doing anything that he has pretty much started or created. He was creating a new market in the design field. He actually used the term grunge to label what he was trying to market, but then everyone started to adopting the term and turned it into a subculture. By successfully doing so, he became a huge influencer in the Seattle's grunge subculture by designing album covers and posters for underground music and theater artists. He also provided posters for political and community events as well. His work is most often associated with the 80s underground grunge movement that was born in his Seattle hometown, like where he moved. Um, some people have actually called him Seattle's unofficial granddaddy of grunge, which is kind of creepy, but whatever. He was able to witness literally the whole grunge scene come to life and be literally in the center of it in its market. Yeah, which is pretty insane. So, needless to say. So at first, Art Chantry was like a one man design company. Like he literally just did everything by himself. Like he was his boss. Like he ran his own show kind of thing. But then while he's in Seattle, he actually created a relationship with a famous tabloid at the time called The Rocket in 1983. And when he was hired, he became their art director, like literally first job. Um, the Rocket was like Seattle's free monthly tabloid, and this tabloid was to document local upcoming artists and bands in the local Seattle area, so like underground grunge, right up his alley. Um, so the Rocket was like home to actually a lot of talented artists, including the cartoonist for The Simpsons. Fun fact, just thought I'd throw that in there because coincidence? I think not. This tabloid became so popular in Seattle's region that in 1991, a similar version was made in Portland, Oregon. So they kind of just stole their idea and they called it the Rocket, but it wasn't really the same. But Chantry actually stayed there and worked there for the Rocket for like a decade until the grunge scene really started to escalate with bands and groups and all that stuff, and so he left. Sorry guys, if you hear me sniffling, I'm kind of sick as well, so just gonna throw that out there. But all of Chantry's projects were on a low budget with a quick turnaround time. With that being said, the way he was able to have a quick turnaround time was very influential and imitated by many other designers today. It's just insane. While Chantry has been making posters since he was 15, he has stuck to the same way of making posters. And with all this technology and tools that artists have, and they have access to on computers, Chantry literally only uses stencils, label makers, and multiple passes of imagery through photocopiers. That's it. All of Chantry's work was made from recycled material using this technique. All of his posters are chaotic, but literally all the messages are clear of what he was trying to create and the feel and the tone for everything. So while Chantry did a lot of music and theater posters, he also inspired an upcoming snowboarding company as well. This while skateboarding, snowboarding, and surfing became really popular as a sport during the mid to late 1970s, and by this time, Chantry was already known in the design field for his chaotic and rebellious designs that a lot of young people were super intrigued and fascinated by. So with snowboarding equipment becoming really popular, an upcoming artist who was trying to create her own snowboarding company asked Chantry for advice on how to create a successful graphic for each snowboard. And Chantry's literally, I love this. Literally, his advice was when a sport is brand new, it's easy to be outrageous. Like, what? Okay, that's brilliant. And from there, the company K2 was created and inspired by Chantry. And the images I'm showing you right now, like, you can literally see his influence on each graphic that's on the decks. It's awesome. So all of Chantry's posters, like each letter in the type, have different scale and proportions. That way, like they're either distressed, broken, or used from vintage magazines or other sources, like other recycled magazines. But typography is one of his main concepts when it comes to his posters. In an interview, Chantry describes his relationship with typography and how he was introduced to type, saying, I view typography as construction. I build type forms. I'm not a calligrapher, but when I use calligraphy, it's not drawn with a writing tool like a pen, but literally constructed as built letter forms that happen to echo calligraphy in visual form. It's a trick. As a kid, I collected comic books, I built monster model kits, I watched a lot of pop television. This is where I was initially exposed to typography. And while type in is the main aspect for his like designs, he would also use a variety of startling clip art from a wide set of images. Like these images came from either exploitation magazines, like dirty magazines, or hot rod magazines. And since most of his posters were created underground punk for like underground punk bands, all of these images he found were perfect for that punk identity that each band were trying to portray. But this was also Art Chantry's way of showing nonconformity and rebellion. So Art Chantry's work has been an inspiration to many designers over the years. His most notable work were for the album covers for Nirvana, Soundgarden, the Sonics, the Cramps, and Mudhoney, which are all grudge underground bands that you've probably never heard of. But that's just to name a few. He's also been recognized at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Museum of Modern Art, the Smithsonian, the Louvre, and he was also a recipient of the 2017 AIGA medal, and he was recognized for his trepid exploration of subculture, visual communication, and his fearless celebration of culture diversity, which I can't agree like more with because everything he's doing is just accepting other people's cultures. So literally after all of his success in Seattle, like Chantry actually has moved back to Tacoma. That's Washington, like that's where he is right now. But he's still working on creating posters and doing all that stuff still. One of his most recent work was actually to design a poster for the Tacoma Film Festival that is held every year. He personally wanted to create this poster so bad. I watched like a video interview about it. Like he wanted to create this like with everything and anything in his power. Um, and he wanted to create the poster because it was his hometown. Like he wanted people in his town to be inspired to see the art of film, and it's just like art. An artist wants people to experience art. It's what we want. Um, but another work that has been recently released was a design for a label for a beer that had been brewed for a one-day museum promotion. And he used an old black and white photograph of a handcuffed man smoking a cigarette while doing a perp walk. The brew's name, and he is pleased to note, in quotations, was Art Chantry's Imperial Bitter Beer. And that's going to be the image that you see on your right hand side. But yeah, that's everything I have up to date with Art Chantry. I hope you enjoyed everything that I just shared with you. So, good luck on the quiz, y'all. It was lovely having class with you. Peace.